I remember a time when sequels were generally saved for the big summer events and all that, and now it's to the point now we get sequels beginning in January. Here we go again. And with that, I'm welcome to another episode of The Romancer. My goal, as always, is to enhance the movie watching experience. So the Lego Movie Part 2, the second part, we have Chris Lord and Phil Miller returning, who directed the first one. Here they're coming back just solely as writers and producers of the movie here. Now, the first one I loved the original one back in 2014. Was a breath of fresh air in the animation world. Very unique movie. I was extremely delightful. It was funny as hell. A lot of self-referential, very meta humor. And I love that reveal with this movie actually being part of the kid's imagination. It actually flashed to where he's actually in real life playing with his Legos. Will Ferrell, of course, his dad is helping him out and all that as the villain. And I thought that was great. It's a great aspect to the movie. It kind of changed the perspective of that movie here. And so I was looking forward to the second part. And I was to say that, unfortunately, after watching this, not everything is still awesome, but it's just pretty good. Now, the majority of the cast returns here with new additions such as Tiffany Haddish, who's great. Of course, we have Elizabeth Banks and Will Arnett, who does Lego Batman. Of course, Chris Pratt plays Emmett, of course, from the original movie here. Now, the movie takes place right where the first one left off, the cliffhanger where Bianca, Finn's sister in real life, she has the Duplos and invaded the Lego world and all that. It picks up right from there and it jumps about 5 years ahead. And that's when the story kind of starts picking up. And overall, it's pretty good. It's decent. Unfortunately, this is a movie where it's hard not to compare it to the original, and it's going to fall victim to that. And it doesn't reach those heights. Doesn't mean it's not a good movie. It's still pretty good. Again, it's funny. The same kind of humor. This is the fourth Lego movie that we've seen, so you kind of get used to an idea what the humor is going to be like. And it's there some moments I was laughing out loud. Not every joke hits, but they throw a lot of stuff at you, and that's fine. A lot of cinematic references here, and it's kind of funny because I obviously, when you're my age, you understand all those references from most of the movies back in the 80s and early 90s. But I can't think to myself, I don't see how these kids are really going to understand what movies actually referencing and all that, which is fine, not a huge deal. This movie does appeal to grown-ups and the kids alike, and is enough for everybody to chew on. My main issue with the movie just is a little bit clunky in terms of its presentation and narrative here, trying to develop that theme about change and accepting change and whatnot. And it actually ends up paying off pretty well in the end, but just how I guess there's a little bit clunky, particularly the beginning. It starts off very, very fast. There's a lot of things at you. It doesn't really get time to kind of settle in and kind of get yourself back into this world of Lego that we used to back a few years ago. But once it settles in, it's fine. It's it tries a little bit too much. It's a sequel that's kind of par for the course. It gives you too much story and get a little bit confusing. Like, okay, whatever. Particularly for the young kids and all that. But at the end of the day, the message is there. It still comes across. It just doesn't reach those heights the original does. And, we don't have that big reveal with things actually with these real kids actually playing with these toys. We have Finn and Bianca now a little bit grown up, trying to coexist, trying to play together. And they're having issues doing that, which is kind of the main driver of the, I guess the protagonist of the movie here. And it, for the most part, works fine. It was fine. It's fun. It's still entertaining. It's still a Lego movie. It's just not what the first one was. And it's hard for me to separate those two, particularly with Lord and Miller actually writing this one here. And they succeed in a lot of areas. But some things I think that kind of a little bit fell off the wagon a little bit, if you will. But ultimately, it's still an entertaining movie. It's still going to be a great movie for the kids and the family to go watch. You're going to get some laughs out of it. It feels a little bit too long, but all that notwithstanding, you're going to walk out with a smile on your face because I think it does end well and all that. So ultimately, the Lego Movie Part 2, you guys want to watch it? Let me know, comment below as always. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.